Growing up, I can just remember my dad originally being in the Navy and then in the fleet for the Army Corps. And one of my fondest memories of him was coming to this lock here at Lock 3. He called my mom and said, oh, I'll be down there around midnight. And so my mom woke us up, my brother and I, and we came here and we just parked up there on the hill. And I can remember him running up the hill to us. It was a very special moment for me. Sorry.
Saying goodbye to this location, it's a big chapter in my life. I've pretty much grown up here. My kids have grown up while I've worked here. 22 years is a long time for a career for most people at any one project. For me, it's extremely bittersweet. I don't want to see it go. I don't want to lose the group of guys that I work with, but I understand change. That's life. Life has changed. It's a good change for the local communities and for the towing industry. That will open up 30 miles of continuous navigation between Charleroi and Braddock.
I took a lot of different vessels through that lock chamber. Big, small, historic. Never went through on a barge though, I can say that. Guess there's very little time left.
I was born and raised here in Elizabeth, grew up here, so it's just a really special place to live. It's a great small community. The lock and dam to the community itself, I think it's just been a part of Elizabeth. It's just been something that it's been here forever.
This project was started construction in 1903, completed in 1907. It's been in continuous operation since 1907. So it's like 117 years, I believe. Removing this dam is the last phase of the Lower Mon project. The first phase was the new dam at Braddock. The second phase was the new lock chamber at Charleroi, and the third phase is the removal of locks and dams number 3.
As little kids, from the time I could walk as a toddler before school, I would walk down to the bluff above the lock. And I would sit with my buddy, and we would watch the boats go through the locks up and down the river. Oh, it seemed like an eternity. When you're young, time doesn't mean anything before you go to school, right? We'd see a boat coming, we would go like this and they would toot their horns and we would get all excited because we had this distant communication before cell phones. That was really cool. And of course, sometimes we were hungry and we'd go like this to rub our bellies and they would throw us apples and oranges, and sometimes it would make even the shore, but usually would have to go out a few feet and get them out of the water. They would float in the water. And I feel bad that future kids aren't going to see that, but I can tell you that was something that I'll always cherish.
Sorry, saying goodbye to Lock 3 is one last goodbye to my dad. I know that if he was still here, he'd be here trying to jump on that lock or help in any way he could. I actually know that just his perseverance and his love for his job, he probably still would have been working. He was very proud to work for the Army Corps. He was very proud to work at this lock, and I can remember him calling and saying, I forgot my lunch, can someone run it down to me, or something like that, and just him walking across, and it was something that he really enjoyed. He loved being on the water.
Removing this project is going to open up miles and miles of recreational use for the general public. So the benefits of removing this project will be decreased times to commute that 30 miles. It'll save fuel for the towing industry. It'll just create wide open spaces for recreation. People won't have to lock through this project.
This should be a big plus for all that industry and that recreation. This pole here is kind of a more of an industrial pole. Right in front of Elizabeth is great. And the pole above there is a really good recreation pole. So it's going to be a big benefit there.
I've been very fortunate to work from start as a lock operator to all the way up through a supervisor to work with some really great people. And I'm going to be really sad to lose this group of guys right now because it means so much to the project. It takes a lot to be out here in the middle of the night when it's 10 degrees or, on a Saturday when it's 90 degrees and you're locking boats. I have a really great crew. And it's not always the best conditions. It's rain, it's cold, it's wet, it's mud, and these guys just push through it and get it done. I've worked with some really great people. made some really good relationships. It's been a challenge, a lot of challenge every day. You know, these projects, sometimes the public takes them for granted, don't realize they're here, but they're super important. And I take a lot of pride in that, and so do the rest of my guys.
Yes, for many people it is just a pile of concrete, but for me, this was somewhere that I could come and have lunch with my dad. This was somewhere that I could always just see him. This pile of concrete, it's just my final goodbye.
Goodbye, Monongahela River Locks and Dam number 3.
Goodbye, Lock 3.
Goodbye, Locks and Dam number 3.
Goodbye, Lock and Dam number 3.